Tra-la-la-la-la, we're going to hunt some vampires today in our funky clothing, yeah. Yeah. Alright, yeah, we're hunting some vampire ghosts as the Empire today, being led by Marcus Wolfhard. And it's your boy Benvolio. Back to messing around, trying to get something productive done so I don't go too crazy, even though I've done a lot of other stuff. But that's not important. Taking a look here, opening with the Huntsman. This is a group of missile infantry with anti-large Vanguard deployment, stock and fire as well as moving. Yeah, the Pawn Stop Hunters, they're going to be very useful in this coming match against the Vampire Coast. I'm going to show you my opponent's army. I'm putting it to Moog is Love, and then I'll show you what I'm running here. So Moog is Love is coming in with Luther Harkon, riding that Death Street Terror, guys, that blue pea bat thing. Can I get a closer look at it? Ah, yeah, not a nice thing. Nice hybrid weapon specialist. Yeah, he's good with that Terror, guys. He can be really annoying and really resilient. And then his main army's parked over on the other side of his trees here. He's got some fell bats that are just there to bog down any missile units I have, or block cavalry, or just to meat shields, basically, which is kind of how the undead can play a lot. And he's got zombie pirate deckhand mob, just standard. Zombies with sabers and such. Look at them zombie pirates here. Ah! Zombie pirates, man! Oh, yeah. And he's got a gunnery mob with explosive infantry. They're anti-infantry. Yeah, it might have been good if against my infantry. We'll see how they play out. You know, dual sword infantry again, deckhand mobs. Blech. Zombie pirate gunnery mob. Regular deckhand mobs. And some of my own fire already coming in. Looks like against this gunnery mob with the... just the regular standard. So see, I would have gone with the armor-piercing versions myself. And he's got another group of zombie pirate deckhand mobs over here on his far left flank, as well as this vampire fleet captain. Alright, parked way out of here, and you will see that's not a great... I think it might have been a mistake on Moog's part to park his fleet captain all the way over here. Armor, decently combatant, with some spells and abilities, no doubt, but... unfortunately, she's pretty isolated, so that's not really ideal in dealing with my army. He's got one more thing hidden in the bush over here. He's got some Morngulls, bleh. Yeah, ooh, they're very fast, creepy crawlies. They've only got arms to run on them, but man, they are pretty quick. They can give good chase to cavalry. He's got them parked in the trees. In the shade of the trees, pretty ghoulish and awesome, and kind of lovely thematic scene in the shadow of the trees. And there, my outriders are opening fire against Luther Harkon, flying over them. So we'll get to that action in a second. Just as we take a look at the scurvy dogs here, parked in the woods. I guess he's going to use those for mobility because the Vampire Coast and a lot of undead armies typically don't have the anything vampire related does not really have much in terms of cavalry, so they have to find different alternatives. Morngulls are one of them, and so are the dogs, in terms of just speedy movers that can get behind enemy lines and openly attack ranged units, silence any, and you know, rear charge infantry, all that stuff. So that's their kind of thing. But mainly, the Vampire Coast is going to rely on their gunpowder, their piratey gunpowder. My mortars, I hope to God they're not firing it. They might be. I've got a couple mortars firing there. But let's take a look at my army real quickly. We started with those huntsmen over there, the anti-large unit I brought with nice stats for their price, really. I got Outriders, armor-piercing, gun cavalry, of course. I always love these guys. These are my favorite. Like, you take a look at the rotating rifle there with a sweet hat, man. And my huntsman, obviously, I've got a captain of the Empire, the Knights of the Blazing Sun, parked back here in the forest. A bit farther back from my front line, just to see in case he brings some scurvy dogs or anything like that around. I can be even farther back to be able to swing in on them. I've got these wonderful thingies. Woof. War wagons with mortars. Sweet. So you're just riding around, launching the mortars. And they are wasting their shot on Luther Harkon. They should be trying to chunk off his infantry as it advances. On the other side, we've got basically the same thing except Reichsguard Knights instead of these Knights of the Blazing Sun. Let's take a quick look at them. Real quick. Yeah! They've got blazing in their name because their lances are on fire. That's pretty sweet armor, actually. Yeah. And Empire Captain over here. I got another Empire Captain, and I said Reichsguard over on the other side there. My infantry state troops! Poncey, yeah, you ready to go? You ready to go? Yeah, they're ready to go, yeah. Just standard swordsmen. 4 groups of standard swordsmen. I'm not too worried about too many large units with undead armies, so I brought just mainly kind of standard infantry. And some spears, just in case he does have a couple large things. 2 groups of spears there in the back. I don't know if they've got chevrons in them. Yeah, 1 chevron in them. No chevrons in that one. And I got Marcus Wolfhart, Hunty Boy. He's basically Sean Connery with a longbow. Yeah, it's like, I'm gonna hunt you because I'm a gruff old fella. He's got all kinds of abilities that are good with that. Like, he's all about, yep, yeah, you got your arrow. That's good. So he's great because he's anti-large too. So he's just loving this, just being able to pick off Luther Harkin from a distance. There he goes, firing a shot at him. Let's follow this arrow. Woo! We're following the arrow. And this on its long flight. Let's go. Boop, 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 boop. As is he gonna get away? Is he gonna get away, or is the arrow gonna weirdly turn in the air? And yeah, it kind of weirdly turns in the air. So that happens, but it was a hit. Yeah, against him. Yep, and yeah. So there we go. So he got. Let's put this into normal time now. So Luther Harkin got sent off there by Marcus Wolfhard. By Marcus Wolfhard, my infantry is advancing in the middle. And again, the huntsmen were able to pop out of the woods and do a lot of damage to the Luther Harkin as well, because that's what huntsmen are good for. But now, unfortunately, the Mongols are going to be waiting in the woods for these knights, these hapless riders, hapless outriders. It's like riding towards the woods, and they're going to leave out a great moment. I really love that moment. Like, here they come. Oh boy, oh boy. Because they're chasing Harkon still. I've just got them floating on Harkon, because why not? But he's walled off very nicely behind those Mongols, parked in the bush. But now I'm going to just shoot at the Mongols. But look at how quick these things are. These guys are mounted on horses. These guys got 2 arms. They've got 4 legs. Look at them. Look at them. Whoa! They're actually pretty quick. I mean, in the long run, I outrun them. But here they go. They get pulled into a nice trap with the huntsmen, though. The huntsmen are going to be able to enjoy taking shots at these guys. Because, again, huntsmen have that anti-large. Mongols count as large. So, oh, yeah, rack them up over there. Let's check out what's going on over there, because we've got some action going on over there. Is that... No, it's the fell bats just soaking up some... trying to mess with the mortars, just stop them from firing so we can advance. Meanwhile, I've noticed this vampire fleet captain over here just isolated, so I'm going to come in with my captain and my Reichsguard knights. Woo! Charging into the Krabby Patty. Ah, blah, 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 blah. Just very bad choice for him, and I'm able to just completely bully that thing out of the... bully his hero off the field, because he left it isolated. You know, maybe if he positioned it better, it wouldn't have been so easy, but... so anyway... Swordsmen have met the zombie pirate deckhand mobs in the woods, and they're being torn apart by his artillery. Spearmen and shields being blasted away by his mortars, which is a nice choice. He's also got some armor-piercing deck gunners in the back I failed to mention. Let's just let's put this in the slow-mo. We'll put the info on them, yeah. Armor-piercing missiles and aquatic. Look at them. They got little Pukul guns or whatever. Pukul? PP guns? And then there's the other variant, but glow stick. That's the other bear. Yeah, so they're they're Shade Wraith Gunners regiment renowned. I think I've fought them at Norse, but they're kind of annoying. They're gonna shoot any cavalry that comes in with armor-piercing missiles, which is it's fairly smart. Which is what he's doing wonderfully. He's warding off my. That's what they're for gunning down the cavalry. That's the other answer the Vampire Coast have typically. The cavalry. Look at this goo coming in here from them shooting. Pretty dramatic, but let's put it into regular speed. That's the other answer the Vampire Coast have to cavalry is just big guns. Bigger and bigger guns. They're like Crocodile Dundee with guns. However, the Huntsmen and my Outriders, and also the mobility of these mortars, really gave me a lot of flexibility here. Because what I love about these mortars, you can really just wheel them off, park them, keep firing again. That's your it's mobile artillery. Yeah, so basically the closest thing this universe has got to, like, I think, a useful tank. Anyway, so my infantry over there were badly depleted, badly blown apart by the bombs and stuff, I guess. And so they're rallying in the center. Marcus Wolfhard still untouched. This group of swordsmen didn't have too much trouble, I guess. They were chasing something off. But we got the Huntsmen, I think, had some trouble with the Mongols. The Mongols have retreated somewhere. No, the Mongols got pulled over here to chew up because I was getting too close to his guns with my main infantry, so you had to pull the Mongols over here, but they are badly depleted. They are, however, going to tool away those swordsmen and scare them off, probably because they're causing terror, scaring the wee statesmen. Unfortunately, my Knights of the Blazing Sun, that charge there we were looking at didn't go too well from it. Blasted a few of them apart. But I am still going to be cycle charging in with them as much as possible when I can pull their attention away with my group of Reichsguards, which are still almost at full health. So that was a bit of a waste of the Knights of the Blazing Sun. I wish I'd, you know, but you can't be perfect, right? He's going to do something. He's going to get you somewhere. I've just targeted Luther Harkin with the big thingy with Wolfhard. Is he going to fire it? Let's see, and it should do honk. Yeah, decent chunk. Well, semi-decent chunk. But anyway, I'm able to advance with the Huntsman and this full complement of swordsmen to back up my guys, so he does have a couple groups of zombie deckhand mobs. However, I'm hoping with my mortars I will be able to blow them to smithereens. Oh, except I am working on the deck gunners, which is not a good idea. It'd be much better probably to be shooting the infantry, in my opinion. However, they had the knights doing their job, though, getting those charges in. Because they can, as long as I can keep charging from both sides and keep charging them, they're basically defenseless as soon as the cavalry gets that charge in, and the cavalry are going to slowly curb stomp them. As I try to pull attention with the infantry, the huntsmen are able to shoot now. The outrider's still active, firing the mortar into the deck gunners. Luther Harkin's going to have been pulled back to scare off my cavalry. Meanwhile, the other group, the Knights of the Blazing Sun and my captain are going to be. Other captain will be charging in here, and he's pulled some of his infantry. Oh no! To ward off the cavalry. Good news for me. I'm able to blow some of it up. Yeah, that is good. So that means that my infantry is going to be less opposed. I'm going to be able to deal with these guys quite easily now. If I take some shots at them. But Luther Harkin is coming to ward off my huntsman. He doesn't like that. He doesn't like my mortar either, which is still firing. Where's my other mortar? It is also still firing. I do not know what it's firing at. I don't know. It's still firing to me anyway. But blowing those guys up quite effectively. Uh-oh. But he's into my huntsman. That's not good. We want him off the huntsman. Do I have enough to ward him up? I do have the outriders ready to shoot, and they are. And we have lots of people shooting right now. And not with mortars. Oh, man. Change that. Marcus Wolfhart on foot, but probably still just dedicated to Luther Harkin at this point, if I remember correctly. And the cavalry in the back pulling out with the Knights of the Blazing Sun and the captain, which have done a good job. And now I'm going to be cycle charging in again with the Reichsguard and the captain. Those are the Knights of the Blazing Sun, yeah. Now I'll be charging again. The deck gunners, his back line here, slowly but surely, crumbling, getting torn apart. Will riders get in another charge? I believe Harkin is trying to come back. Some mortars are still able to fire. Harkin is being chased down by the outriders, trying to chase off my mortar wagon. Oh no, and some nasty spooge at the captain. But that's I don't know. I would have tried to reduce my model count. Might have been a better thing, because now I'm going to get a much nicer charge with that massed cavalry. And here it comes. Rah, ride down the zombies. Rah! So hopefully largely finishing off those deck gunners, we hope, and that's pushing them to crumbling. Good. The captain's in there too amongst them. I really want to take them down, get them tied up so they are not able to fire at anyone. Meanwhile, the Mourngols, I don't know if the Mourngols are done in the woods, but my swordsmen probably just parked here, which is really stupid, fighting some deckhands with the deckhand. They are going to win against the deckhands, but they are badly depleted. Well, I still got a quarter left. That's enough. And the mortar's still able to fire in, which I find is very key. Now we're going to try and charge these cannon. Luther Harkin is probably going to realize I'm going to be able to go after his cannons, because now I can fully go after his cannons, and the swordsmen just walk up and boom, because everything else has been cleared away largely. Oh, and that's exactly what I saw. I'm charging his cannons. He realizes this. He realizes this. He realizes this, and he was trying to stop me, but now I can kind of really take away his last kind of gunpowder thing when he's able to, you know, because it can do a lot of damage to my infantry, and now the swordsmen are on it. It is over for that cannon, and I think he's realizing it is over for him. Luther Harkin trying desperately to come back. Think Marcus Wolfhart able to get some shots, and the huntsman, the paunced up vampire hunters are hunting vampires as they were supposed to, as the cannon crumbles, and so the back line doesn't have much left. And the Harkin is going to crumble, I think. Yeah, he's drained. Yeah, bad day for you, buddy. And yea, verily, the vampires were slain by the paunced up hunty men with the big bows and the sweet hats. Let's check the kill count on stuff. Marcus Wolfhart 16. Yeah, that's fair. Solely shooting big targets. Yeah, that's good. That's good. 51 and 85 on the cavalry. That's good. The mortar wagons did great. I really love the mortar. 27 on one group, huntsman, 9 on the other. The swordsman, did okay. But most of the work, it seems, was done by the cavalry and the mortars, which was good. It was a fun battle. It was a really fun battle. I think if he positioned his poor vampire fleet captain in a better place, it would not have gone the way it did. But as it worked out, lo and behold, the Empire wins. The paunced up dudes with the really cool shoes bring down the Vampire King on his giant baddie thing. Anyway, it's what's with the boys back home. Keep it real.